Okay, so this video is going to go over searching skills and tips for actually how you use your keywords to search in library resources. So if you go onto the Canvas course and under modules, scroll down to your topic development and keywords module, I have uploaded this document, Search Skills and Tips, which is just a list of things that you can do to help your search when you're using library resources like Primo or some of our databases like Academic Search. These are things that also work in Google. So any sort of search engine anywhere in the world mostly works with these different search skills. And so the first one is using an exact quote or phrase. So if you are using a phrase as a keyword doesn't always have to be a singular word. So you could have the term renewable energy. When you're searching for this, you're wanting renewable energy as a singular term. We're wanting those words to be together in the document. And so the database, most of them start by pulling you resources with those words together as you have typed them in. But if you just type in the words renewable energy, it can start breaking them apart. And so you have renewable up here, and 5 sentences later, you have energy, and that's not what you're talking about. So one way to get around that is to put quotation marks around things. So coming from my Facebook, there we go, the library homepage and going to Primo. So putting things in an exact quote. I do this sometimes with terms like this, to where you're looking for a very specific phrase or very specific term that's a phrase that's multiple words. Do remember to sign in when you're searching. Let it rethink, let it load again. So you're seeing with just doing renewable energy, we get over 1 million search results. If I put this in quotation marks, though, that changes our search to bringing it down to 900,000. So it did knock out about 300,000 items that were not having renewable energy as a term. So putting things in exact quotations can be very helpful, especially if you're seeing that the words are being broken apart, and that's not what you're wanting. Lots of times, if I'm searching for specific titles or specific people, putting their names or the title of whatever it is I'm searching for in quotation marks is helpful. It brings you more of that exact, that we don't want John Smith separated. We want that as a name. So putting things in quotation marks can be helpful that way for names and titles. The next one is this idea of truncation, and this allows you to search for variations of the same word. So just like I said, that the database can't understand that women and females mean the same thing. They can describe the same group of people. It can also not understand that variations of words, either singular or plural, or if it's like active versus past tense of a verb or something like that, could be bringing up the same information that's relevant to you. So the example here that I use in the spreadsheet is finance. So truncation is you're taking the beginning of the word and then you're putting an asterisk, which is that little star, before you get to the end. So what this will do for finance is it searches for finance, financing, finances, financial. So all of those kind of variations that can bring you relevant terms without having to do 5 different searches. You do want to make sure that you are not putting the asterisk too soon in the word, because say you're looking for variations of environment. I would do that. So you're getting environment, environments, environmental, all kind of variations of that. But if you just did EMV, yes, you'd be getting variations of environment, but you're also going to get variations of envelope, envoy, envy. So you get too many different words within there that just start with EMV. So make sure you're getting enough of the word within it. So showing you this. Okay, so yeah, so you're seeing you're getting a lot of environmental with this. You're getting environments. So So I'm looking at these words that are highlighted in yellow that Primo highlights what keywords and where it's coming up in your search. So adding truncation is a really good option there. Wildcards is kind of like a variation of truncation. So instead of putting that asterisk before you get to the end of the word, this is exchanging one letter of the word with typically a question mark. Sometimes it's an exclamation point. So easiest example for that is woman singular versus women plural, man versus men. So by putting that question mark where the A or the E would go, you're getting both variations of the word. Wildcards aren't used as much as truncation, but they are an option. What is most heavily used, though, within searches is connector words, also called Boolean operators. I don't know if any of y'all have heard that term, Boolean. It's my fancy library term. It's fun to say, but the idea is very simple. And this is just words that give directions to the database or the search engine on how to search for these keywords. And most Boolean operators are the words and, or, and not. And so these are things that you can add into your search. So we're looking for renewable energy and I'm thinking wind power. Okay, sorry, my mind blanked on what I had planned to search. So by saying and, you have to find articles or books that talk about renewable energy and wind power. So this is a way of narrowing down your search results by combining keywords. With Primo, some of our databases, if you just type in and like you regularly would, just all lowercase, some databases will take that as a Boolean operator. Primo is unique that if you just type in and or a not all lowercase, it's going to search for those as a keyword. We don't want to search for and as a keyword. That is not what you're looking for. So if you're wanting to put these in as Boolean operators in Primo, make sure you're putting them as all caps. So here you're getting 14,000 results. If I say renewable energy and wind, brought that actually up to 407,000. So it did change what you're getting with that you're having to talk about these two different things. Or is a way to bring in some of those synonyms. So that big list of chart of synonyms that you worked on, that you're looking at what are variations and alternative keywords for my key concepts, or is a way to bring those in. So we are talking about mental health or psychology. Okay. So, or could be a way to tie in those keywords that are synonyms of each other all within one search. Or is a way to expand your search by pulling in multiple keywords. You want to be careful of this. You don't want to put too many ors within there, but this lets you expand your search by searching multiple terms at once. Most of the time when I use ors, it's when we're looking at one-for-one synonyms. So teenagers or young adults or adolescents. So those are all pretty one-for-one synonyms with each other that you might put those in with, okay, so we're saying okay, so typing that in. So teenagers, young adults, or adolescents, that's going to bring in all of those keywords. If you are wanting to use multiple search terms, so we're not just talking about teens or young adults or adolescents, you're probably talking about it with something else. If you're using Boolean operators, I suggest moving out of the simple search and moving into this advanced search. So you have this advanced search option. This lets you, instead of having to type in all of your Boolean operators, it lets you break out those keywords or key concepts into multiple search boxes. So you're seeing over here, you're getting this drop-down menu of Boolean operators. So you might be saying teens or young adults or adolescents, and we want to talk about mental health with that. So this is a way of combining those together. Do not combine multiple Boolean operators. Do not combine an and or into the same search box. That is going to confuse Primo and it's going to trip up the search algorithm. If you're needing to combine both an and an or, we strongly suggest you move to this advanced search and use this drop-down menu and break out your key concepts into different lines. You can add lines from your advanced search as well. I also do suggest that if you're trying to use the or operator, though, we suggest that you put that all in one line. So that way you're grouping things together, that we don't want teens or mental health. We just want teens or young adults. So putting it in one line kind of separates those different Boolean operators. And then finally, not is a way to limit your search and to narrow it by excluding things. So we want to talk about teens and mental health, but you don't want to talk about depression. That's not what your topic is on. So by saying not is going to leave out any resource that's going to come up that has the keyword not as part of the title or the full text. Not is typically not something that people start their search with. Most of the time it's something they do their search and see the results that come up, and they're like, okay, it keeps on coming up with this topic and that's not what I want to talk about. They then go edit their search to add back in a not. There have been very few cases in my career where I have started a search with a not Boolean operator. But these Boolean operators are one of the best tools for searching, especially when you're searching for multiple keywords and trying to narrow down to a very specific topic. And they work in every library resource and as well as Google, so you can use them on Google. With this advanced search, you have these other options of this like any field or contains. I suggest leaving those alone. You want to search any field. You don't want to just typically search the title or the subject or the user tags or something like that. If you're searching by keywords like this, you want to get the whole kit and caboodle. You want to search everything in the item record that there is to search. I also suggest leaving contains alone as well. That way you get all variations of it. You don't really want it has to be exactly this or starts with. That kind of can narrow things down too far a little bit. So just leave those search options alone. Play with Boolean operators, add new lines. You could add other limiters here. Go ahead and do that. That's up to you. It depends on what you're searching for. All right, coming back to our list. Okay, so nesting is something that many databases automatically do. So this is where, if you remember mathematics class of, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, of the order of operations, things in parentheses are grouped together and they go first. So nesting is a way to add parentheses and to group together your search terms. So you're seeing here, you're getting these dogs or puppies or canine searched together and cats or kittens or feline. So by putting those parentheses around it, it's giving better directions to the search engine on how you are to search for these keywords. Many of our databases, though, if you're using this advanced search and separating your things out into new lines, this automatically does nesting for you. So it is grouping together. It's within its back end of the search algorithm, putting this teens or young adults or adolescents in parentheses so that it knows to limit to that. Our other databases, if you go to Library homepage, go to resources, ProQuest is a good one for this, that even when you're using the advanced search of looking at dogs or puppies or canines and fleas or ticks. Okay, so even when you're breaking it out in the search options like this, when it actually comes up with your search, it's showing you, yes, it's automatically doing this nesting. This is something that's built into many of the algorithms, but if you didn't have an advanced search option to where you could break out your key concepts onto separate search boxes, you could use parentheses to group together those ors and nots and ands so that you get exactly what you're wanting it to search for and it doesn't confuse it. Nesting is something that many search engines automatically do, though. Finally, you have the proximity of the near operator and the within operator. They do work. In reality, I've never used them in a search. So the near operator is allowing you to find words within a certain number of words of one another, regardless of the order they appear. So example, tax and 5 reform means that tax reform taxes and reforms has to be within 5 words of each other in the text. It could be reform and then tax. So it's not looking at the order of that. The within operator takes order into consideration. So tax W8 reform means that it has to be tax then reform within 8 words of each other. This is pretty advanced searching. I've never had to do this. This is kind of a little bit of an old school tip, but it is there. Finally, you have the help section. So many of our databases, when you're looking at them, kind of have this question mark or a help section up here in the top left or top right in this case. Look at that. It tells you how does our database work, what tools and limiters work best with our databases, how do you use our specific tools, and so sometimes help options can teach you a few things. So some search tips on how to actually use your keywords when you're typing them in, that sometimes going beyond just this Google concept of we're just going to put our keywords in there and see what comes up can be helpful. Adding those exact quotations, adding that truncation, definitely those Boolean operators is often going to get you better search results than just typing your keywords and then you have to sift through all of the results.